So is your life a symphony of good?
Yes.
Good. All right, that's it. Pass the baskets. You know, part of the definition of a symphony is a symphony is a conglomerate of different faces, different instruments, different tones, all coming together in a symphony that is pleasing. It's also, the dictionary says balanced, pleasing, suitable arrangements of parts, also meaning harmony and balance. You know, there's something about being in nature and watching nature do life with a capital L that can cause one to make a very strong distinction between our life circumstances and life. So our life circumstances are one thing, and the life underneath or behind that life is a completely different thing, and it is always good, always a symphony of good. Now, sometimes it doesn't feel like that because stuff is going on in the world, or we're walking through experiences that don't feel good, that we don't want to call good. But part of our training in this philosophy, faith, and way of life is to recognize our role in the co-creation of our destiny, the part we play. And it's very good we have this part to play, because otherwise we would just be victims of circumstances. We would just be at the effect of other people, places, conditions, and circumstances. And that is not our divine destiny. Our divine destiny is to be and to live in a way that is, I can't remember the reading, but is enjoyable and enlightening and good. I remember living in Los Angeles and sitting in my backyard, and it was very cloudy, and I lived very near the Los Angeles airport. And I remember just being there and kind of looking at the sky, and all of a sudden, out of the clouds came an airplane. And it was very profound, because we have a tendency as human beings to think that if you can't see it, it's not there. If you can't taste it, it's not there. If you can't, right, that we rely so heavily on our physical senses. But the fact is that airplane was always there. I just couldn't see it. And then all of a sudden it emerges in its reality. I think the spiritual life, the shift from living from the outside in to living from the inside out is like that. Like, I could sit here all day and talk about God, or talk about appreciation and gratitude, or talk about the miraculous nature of life, but if you can't see it, you may not think it's true. So part of this center and part of my work is to keep pointing to the cloud, to keep pointing to the expectation that just because you can't see happiness does not mean happiness is not there. Just because you can't see peace of mind or a way out of your financial troubles or a healing of your body temple, that those things are not possible or there. They are. So we're mandated really with the burden falls on us to get in alignment or to get in harmony with this good that is there. Now, this quote from George Bernard Shaw says, "God has given us a world that nothing but our own folly keeps from being a paradise." Now, I looked up the word folly just a minute ago in my office, and it means a lack of good sense and foolishness. So if it weren't for the lack of our good sense and foolishness, we would experience paradise more than we do. Now, what I know is that this is a journey of awakening. It is a journey of understanding. It's a journey of becoming aware of. Because for most of us, and for many of us still, you know, it's so hard when we're in this room talking, because I'm preaching to a choir, right? I'm preaching to a group of people who are already practicing the principles of appreciation and gratitude and positive expectation. So It's not, if you go out into the world, which I have been for 3 weeks, I've been with people from other cultures, people from other countries, lots of people on airplanes and airports, and not everybody's walking around living in a symphony of good. Do you understand what I'm saying? Good, right? Because there's a lot of fear and a lot of worry and a lot of doubt and a lot of anger and a lot of judgment and a lot of criticism and a lot of rudeness. I just want to go to humanity and said, you're full of foolishness, right? That this life can be a life of a paradise. Now, is it a paradise when you're sick? No. Is it a paradise when you're moving through a loss of a loved one or battling? You know, there are moments, transient moments, that might have us forget for a minute that we're in control, or might have us forget for a moment that we have the power to mitigate the circumstance with our attitude and our feelings and our responses. But even everyone, if I'm moving through that, I'm going to be leaning into you, leaning into the people I care about, leaning into God, leaning into prayer for comfort and support through the period of time, but still knowing that God is good all the time and that this too shall pass. I don't know why this song has been playing in my mind for 3 days. Do you know this song? We paved paradise and put up a parking lot, and I found this picture of this elephant walking down a street, which is kind of what it looks like in Kruger Park, right? So in South Africa, you do have deep pockets of the bush country, but you also, Kruger Park is a self-drive park, and so the whole thing's paved, and you have elephants, you have everything on the streets. Now, is that good or is that bad? I don't know. I don't want to judge it, but it is definitely a perspective. I think that I'm trying to determine why this song meant something to me for this talk, because I couldn't get it out of my head. So I think that what happens, and I've also just spent a few weeks with a 2-year-old who knows nothing of fear, doubt, and worry. Right, she's just pure bliss, pure curiosity. And I've known her since she was born, but I can see now the parking lot being created in her mind a little bit, like the no's, like, no, honey, you can't do that, right? So you can see the chink in paradise. So I think all of us, somehow, we get a little tainted and a little, the dirt and grit of our journey, and we can easily grow into adulthood with mostly a parking lot and not a paradise. So I think, well, I just don't know. So I also looked at paradise, which is defined as a place or state of bliss, felicity, great happiness, or delight. Now, we want to talk about this because our mission, our vision, who we are, who you are as a being, is a being who cares about life, who cares about the quality of life for yourself and for other people, deeply cares, not casually caring, deeply caring. So we want to move out of a space of being caught by the ego's perception of the world. You know, I've had people say to me, oh, well, the world's just going to hell in a handbasket. It's like, no, it's not. This is God's world. It's not going to hell in a handbasket. But if it is for that person, it is for that person. Do you understand? So we all get to be emissaries and teachers of good. Now, this is a God and Company, doing business as God and Company. This is a writing by Ernest Holmes that I loved. And he said, I'm going to just read something from here. He says, it is evident, forget that part, starting over, take a breath, take 2. relative to the principle of divine guidance and our use of it. We are in partnership with the infinite mind, and the name of this partnership is God and company. God and company. He says, God standing for the supreme intelligence, the universal creative order, the dynamic law, and all perfect presence. This is God, the senior partner. We are the company. He says his partnership cannot be dissolved. We might think it can be dissolved, but it cannot. He continues, I love this idea, right? God and company. He says, the problems in life arise from the belief that we have neither the power nor the intelligence to solve our own problems. But if we realize that our partner, the law of mind, which is this creative process that turns thoughts into things, that turns attitudes into circumstances, that reverses conditions, that it is the best kept secret in all of human history, which we know here, it's not a secret here, and we practice here, which is that there's nothing solid except that we make it so. Our thoughts, our attitudes, our beliefs, our reactions actually mold molecules into a life that we architect on our own, that we are not victims trying to put up with a world that isn't perfect. It's the same with gratitude and appreciation, which I'm sure has been a theme all month, which is that it's human to be grateful for good things that happen. It's divine to appreciate the good that hasn't happened yet. Because the appreciation of the good that hasn't happened yet does what? It creates it. I appreciate the money I'm getting to sponsor a table at our party. Comes before the money that be so brilliantly presenced. So he says, as we transfer the load, and what he means by this, what Ernest Holmes meant by this, as we transfer the load from our own will and might and the ego's wanting and transfer it to God, transfer it to the partner, God and company, he says, a new meaning comes into life, a more spontaneous self-expression. Sadness gives, sorry, I'm having a hard time reading this. Sadness gives place to joy. Confusion surrenders itself to peace. Action robbed of friction moves without fatigue, and the endless drama of life presents us with inspiring scenes and moving experiences. So God and company. Now, your life, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins. Yes. We have a little Tony Robbins fan here. Tony Robbins says, your life changes the moment you make a new, congruent, and committed decision. So commitment, congruence means, congruence has to do with acting and being who you really are and who you really know yourself to be. So incongruence means you're out of harmony with yourself. So this quote is really saying we can change our minds to be in life representing who we are in partnership with God. Now, obviously, to do that, you have to have an expanded version of God, not the one I grew up with, the punishing God, the judgmental God, the fickle God, not that God. This is the God without, the God within, the God that runs through nature, the God that created everything that we didn't create, the God that's loving, the God that's accepting, the God that's not. We have to have a new idea. Because if you believe that, if you get on board with that, if you sign, the employment contract and become part of God and company, your life will begin to reflect all that means. You will become less affected by all the shenanigans that the ego causes in life. You will not be fooled just because you can't see the good outcome. You'll know that plane's going to come through the clouds. You'll know it without doubt, which will leave you in a whole new way of living. Yes? So you can change your mind. There's absolutely nothing to lose to change your mind. In terms of gratitude and appreciation, it is not possible to be cranky, judgmental, revengeful, unforgiving. It is not possible to be those things, to have those attitudes active in your consciousness and to have a good life. It's not possible. Because not only does your having those feelings affect your body and your mood, but the law of mind that creates 100% of the time. It doesn't only create when you're a nice person. It creates all the time. So this cranky, judgmental being out in the world isn't going to find the way easy, effortless, helpful, supportive. So there's a direct correlation between you and your world. So make a decision to willingly and happily work for God and company. And take a chance. So the appreciation comes from some other place. We'll talk about this next week a little bit too, but the appreciation comes from a place separated from what's happening out here. Even though if I won the lottery, I would be very grateful. But the problem with that, without the appreciation from within, is that you spend the money and you're back being ungrateful. So the appreciation comes really from the recognition of your connection to Spirit and the gift that has been given by Spirit for you to co-create and the power to do so. So this has been a mantra since my early training 30 years ago, that this was something we said all the time. It was almost hammered into us, but it's beautiful. And whenever I say it or think it, it just puts me right back on track. It takes me right out of the pity party, takes me right out of the judgment, takes me right out of that shouldn't have happened, that shouldn't have happened. And there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. So this is a powerful affirmation that puts you right into the employment of God and company, because it tells the truth about life. And the truth not only sets you free, but it also creates a future that you want, that will fulfill you. So let's read it. Read it out loud. Here, let's do it this way. Repeat after me. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Doesn't that feel good? It does. All right, so I have for you, rather than me praying, I have a prayer written by Ernest Holmes that I'm going to say and use as the prayer for closing the talk today. So if you will just turn within and just soak up these words of this wonderful being who created the science of mind a very long time ago now, who was also he was just a short little guy, but he was so poetic in his words. So take a breath. There is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. that life is my life now. It is flowing through me, circulating in me. I am one with its rhythm. My heart beats with the pulsation of the universe in serenity, in peace, and in joy. My whole physical being is animated by the divine spirit. If there is anything in it that does not belong, it is cast out because there is one perfect life in me now. I am daily guided so that I shall know what to do under every circumstance, in every situation. Divine guidance, divine intelligence guides me in love, in joy, and in complete self-expression. Desiring that the law of good alone shall control me. Desiring that the law of good alone shall control me, I bless and prosper everything I am doing. I multiply every activity. I accept and expect happiness and complete success. Realizing that I am one with all people, I affirm that there is a silent power flowing through me and them, which blesses and heals and prospers, makes happy and glad their pathway. And realizing that the world is made up of people just like myself, I bless the world and affirm that it shall come under the divine government of good, under the divine providence of love, and under the divine leadership of the supreme intelligence. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you.